The first and most important reason to have food reserves is to be prepared in case of an emergency. There are an average of 392 large-scale natural disasters a year. Add to this the possibilities of unemployment, accidents, and downturns in the economy that have 43 million Americans on food stamps, and food reserves make all kinds of sense. But food reserves are not just about you, are they? They're about you and all the people you care about. Let me illustrate my point. The price of food is continually rising. What if you found out about a grocery store that opened up in your neighborhood with prices from 10, 15, even 20 years ago? Would you shop there? Probably. What if the food was free? Would you keep it to yourself? Or would you feel inspired, even responsible to share that gift? Efoods Global can help you and your family and friends prepare for an uncertain future with our food reserves. And we can even show you how to do it for free. The more of us that are prepared, the more generous and empowered we will all be, and the safer our families will be. Now let's continue our tour by showing you what goes into making Efoods Global Reserves and why they are the right choice for you.
The CEO of the world's largest retailer has a very important warning for all of us, for U.S. consumers. He says that serious inflation is indeed on the horizon, and it's going to have a very big impact on basic necessities like food and clothing. Eric Bolling, the host of Follow the Money on the Fox Business Network, joins me now to talk about this. When the CEO of Walmart is flagging, folks, we're in for some serious inflation, he's also prepared. All his costs are rising, right? So that's going to be passed on to the consumer.
Sure, and his input costs are rising, the price of corn, the price of cotton, all the input to make and retail this stuff, transport it, forget gasoline and diesel fuel to get this stuff over here. But he also says labor costs are starting to rise out of China. So he went down the list of different input costs, labor, food, et cetera, energy. The bottom line is Americans have to expect higher prices. Now, Walmart happens to be a phenomenal retailer. They have warehouses around the country. They can store stuff where it needs to be stored. They can access goods in different places. So the effect to Walmart's prices may be a little bit muted or limited, but take a mom and pop retailer. It's just strangling them. A jeans retailer, price of jeans are skyrocketing because the price of cotton's up 115% in 1 year.
Yeah, so, where does this, let's take a look. We built something that shows a comparison of just bread, for example, just to give everybody an indication of how, and you can feel it, when I go to the grocery store and it feels like it's just getting a little bit bigger, the bill every day when you're buying the same stuff you've always bought. So there's the price for white bread, $1.39 in February of 2011, and it's up 2.2%. That's a year-over-year change in bread. So that just gives
not
you
bad in bread. Take a look at corn. Corn's up 92%. Why does corn matter? Corn is in just about everything you buy. They use it for, first of all, ethanol, but in the things you eat. High fructose corn syrup is in almost every snack, almost every soda, every single cereal you buy just has either corn or some corn-based sweetener in it. So the price of corn going up, the input costs are going up across the board. The government won't tell you this, though, Martha. You know that core inflation number that they report?
Ex-food and energy.
Ex-food and energy. Why in the world would they leave food and energy out? The two things that we use every
single day. Because
they're
volatile, Eric, and so they can't be in in that indicator because they're too volatile.
That's their excuse.
What is this? So where does this leave us? Because it's hard to sell your house. The price of your house is declining. The job market is very rough, despite the numbers that we have today that are a little bit better than they have been, which is a good sign. People can't, they don't have more money, more discretionary funds to pay for these increases.
Hopefully, combined with the 216,000 new jobs reported this morning, and maybe all the other things that are going on, hopefully these quantitative easings, the money that the Fed continuously pumps into the economy, more money, but that gives upward pressure on prices. Hopefully they realize, okay, enough.
Turn off the
We're not going to do it again. The problem is Bernanke on his last really public speech said if we need to, we would do more. Hopefully, hey, Ben, stop. Enough is enough. Enough of the pumping the money. Yeah, stop printing.
Hello, this is Steve Shank. With the economy, and particularly with food, we are in the eye of a perfect storm. Just recently, as the result of one of the largest earthquakes in recorded history, and the ensuing tidal wave, the entire economy and industry of a country, Japan, have been virtually destroyed. But the Japanese tragedy is just the latest shock pointing to the importance of food. The perfect storm that I'm referring to is circulating the issue of food and food availability here in America. If you track oil and food prices over the last 5 years, you'll find that the graph is identical. And right now our gas prices are helping to drive food costs to record heights. If you have any understanding of the ethanol subsidies and the insanity of literally putting our food in our fuel tanks, ethanol has just reached its 30-month high and is driving fuel and food costs even higher than previous all-time highs. The huge population countries of India and China are buying up American unprotected exports from commodities investors. That's our food they're shipping out of here. The U.S. dollar is following its predicted path of falling, and as a result, it's inflating food prices again astronomically. And oddly enough, our food is being sold to deal with unfavorable international trade deficits of America. You have to understand, we are experiencing the greatest explosion in food shortages and food prices America has ever seen. Today, I'm sounding the alarm about this disastrous food-based economic crash. As food prices continue to rise, thousands and thousands of American families are unable to afford food. And it's not just the unemployed. Of the 45 million families that are on food stamps and growing, a high percentage of them are still employed and yet can't afford food. Folks, you need to tell your friends and people you love that they have to do all they can to freeze the cost and the availability of their food. The way you go about this is getting as much food as you can saved up at today's prices for the time when, no matter how well off you are, affordability will be difficult, but availability could be impossible. This information I'm sharing with you is not intended to be doom and gloom, but is intended to make you aware of the exact circumstances that every one of us is dealing with right now. I'm fortunate to be able to share this information with you from experience of close to 30 years, and my realization that the trends that I've seen coming are now here and present. I believe very strongly that the voice of warning we are raising will enable those for whom we care to bet their lives on the information we've given them, and we can bless them with fearlessness in troubled times. Thank you.